welcome everybody to episode 262 of The China Show.
63.
It's a 263, yes. I apologize. 263 of The China Show, the real China Show, not that boring one with all the stats that knocked off our name.
Yeah. You asked me the number of the show about 10 seconds before the show.
Yeah, I just had a bias towards 262. I don't know why.
I got you, because 263 is the area code for Montreal, Canada. So shout out to you and bonjour if you are
Go
from...
Leafs.
Go Leafs. That's Toronto. Huge rival.
Oh, sorry. It's Canada.
Also Canadian, yes.
Yeah,
Go Leaves. Yeah. I mean, they're all Leaves, aren't they?
Sure.
Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Montreal. We have a big show today.
Yes.
Don't we? We have the main subject, which is about China turning off all electricity in the U.S. In a potential effort of warfare.
Oh, no, there's something very big has come about. And, we've uncovered some pretty nasty hidden communication devices in a lot of very important infrastructure here. But that's coming. We've got so much more to cover today. It's huge.
It's a big show, probably one of the bigger shows. So give it a thumbs up if you're here, by the way. Help us out. Help it get to people's feeds. And we'll be going into all our normal segments. I will say with a heavy focus on some unbelievable slopaganda that we've uncovered. Before
we even begin, I would like to go over a little terminology that you might hear. Yeah. It's high trust society and low trust society. So what is a high trust society?
It's a society where people trust each other. So, for example, Denmark. People will leave their babies out in the strollers or the prams outside of like a coffee shop while they go in, and they have no fear that someone's going to run off with a baby. That's because everyone in Denmark trusts each other that that's not going to happen. That's a high trust society. A low trust society, what is that?
That's where people are too afraid to trust anyone in the public. You won't leave yourself. And like in South Africa, for instance, when you go out, if you're in a coffee shop or something, you won't put your phone on the table because someone could run past and grab it. Yeah. That type of thing. In China, you would never let your kid wander out of your sight because of the kidnapping problems, that type of thing.
Or leave anything anywhere.
Yeah, you wouldn't leave anything. But, high trust society is something that I, for the first time, actually experienced living in America. The fact that you've got those honesty shops where you can go buy honey or corn or whatever. It's just some dude will set up a thing on the side of the road and you take what you want and you leave money.
I get some of my vegetables from those.
Exactly. And it's like, how is this possible? Because everywhere else I've lived in the world, South Africa, China, that stuff will be gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, in China, I think it'd be gone before you put it out somehow, magically.
Exactly. It's
you'd go in your car to put it out, and you'd be like, "Oh, it's gone."
It still blows my mind the amount of people that leave their cars unlocked here as well, which is dumb. You always see on the Ring neighbors apps and stuff. People are like, "Oh, someone tried rifling through my car." I'm like, "Why are you leaving it unlocked? What's wrong with you?" Exactly. Anyway, let's get on with this because we're gonna have to saunter right into this today, guys, with what's new. You're going to see this high trust, low trust society thing brought up quite a lot during this episode.
Very important.
Now, thought we'd start out with some grab hags. Okay, so what you have over here is the street, and a shop has set up their goods that they now have, on sale on the sidewalk. They've set them up on tables and they've piled them up. No,
it's not an honesty shop.
No, the shop is here. I mean, that's the shop.
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to buy something, you pay them, right? So a bunch of middle-aged, what we like to call grab hags, kind of sees an opportunity and they seize it.
Wow, they're really descending.
Yes.
Aren't they?
They're just grabbing everything. Now look, that's the shop, one of the shop attendants running out trying to stop them. Really trying to stop them.
How are you going to stop that?
You can't.
Yeah. Wow, that's picked clean in about, 10 seconds?
Yeah. Take a look at the poor shop owner or the shop assistants trying their best. Here we have a guy sampling the durian fruit.
He's not sampling like Costco. He's just taking.
Well, he's sampling it like a free Costco sample.
If other people saw him do that, they would do it too. Because that's did you see in the first clip? They see a couple people do it.
Yes.
And it's a mob mentality.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I can do it too.
Now, what we have over here is when you get into the rural countryside of China, people dry their produce on the roads. Okay. It can be quite frustrating, and you could attest to this. You're riding a motorcycle in the countryside, and the whole road is going to be covered in corn or something.
Yeah, it's weird.
Or chilies or something.
We used to run over this stuff, and we try to dodge it because we're like, we don't want to run over their crops.
Yeah, but they put it on the whole road to dry during the day. So this guy's got a bunch of garlic. That's supposedly garlic in his bags over here. Yeah. So we have somebody pulls up. an old woman.
Looks like scallions to me. It could be garlic.
Yeah, either one.
Related to each other.
Yeah, they said. It's like, okay. Looking around. No one see me? Cool. All right. Take one bag. Let's go for the second. Oh, you can do it.
Come on, let's go.
Just didn't have the strength or the stamina.
She only had the stamina for one bag.
Yeah, if her stamina hadn't run out, she would have taken all of them.
You gotta understand these people that are harvesting this stuff. It's like a couple people.
Yeah.
It's their whole livelihood, and they're making maybe $100 or $200 per month.
Yes.
So to steal that is like insulting.
It is. Yeah. I mean, anyway, off she goes. Grab hags.
Why does an old woman need 60 pounds of garlic?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question.
She's going to go resell
Yeah,
it.
she'll sell it. That's the reason, yeah.
At the market where these people are selling it.
Yeah.
And she'll deny it the whole time.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we get to watch the...
That goes on for quite a while, doesn't it? You get to just enjoy the birds chirping. Is it birds? Oh, look, something flew past.
Wow.
Huh.
Sometimes there's birds in China.
Sometimes, yes. Very few, though. Here we got the usual grab hags doing their thing.
It's a new clip that just dropped. New album just dropped.
Yeah, exactly.
This is chaos. I like the chaos of this.
Grab hag jamboree.
The woman grabbed the bowl and threw it behind.
Yeah, exactly.
She just wants the chaos.
Yeah.
It's just hot, too, by the way.
Yeah,
They're grabbing it with their hands.
Yeah. Now, this is actually, during weddings, they often set up
Yeah.
these big things, and it's part of the wedding guests. But now, this is a little bit more insidious.
Okay.
Speaking of just taking things that don't belong to you, if you ever wondered how they stock up on the cat meat in the cat restaurants,
Yep.
they have specialized traps, and this is, you can see it live here. The traps, they have a little speaker inside, a little like MP3 player thing, and it plays bird tweeting sounds.
I'm going to put up a poll while we do this.
Yeah.
What do you think is more common, cat or dog meat restaurants? You would know the answer. I want them.
Okay. All right. So take a listen. You'll hear it. Let's see. Okay. I'm actually going to play that again and get ourselves out of there because, you couldn't really see the cat there properly. But there's a cat, possibly someone's pet, possibly a stray, probably a pet. And that's how they grab him.
It was very quick.
Well, I mean,
What do you think he uses bait?
I told you, it's a little speaker.
Oh, it's a speaker.
Plays a bird tweeting sound.
Oh, okay. I thought I know you said that.
Yeah.
I thought there was also like a piece of food or something.
So they go towards the bird tweet, and then it captures them. So that's how they catch the cats to take to the restaurants.
Because I thought you'd use maybe the call to like get its attention, and then they say, "Oh, there's food there."
Yeah, no, it's just the bird tweet.
When I steal cats, I gotta up my game.
Sure.
So what do you think is more common? There's a poll in the chat right now. Do you think cat meat or dog meat is more common in China? We'll give you an answer when we hit 1,000 votes.
Okay, cool. Let's continue in the meantime. Okay, what is happening in this blurry scene?
Down a little bit. Yeah, you can actually just pause it. Actually, play it through. You can. Everything is completely censored.
Yes,
you're not going to see a thing. YouTube, stop freaking out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Getting so sensitive. There's nothing to see here. Okay.
Nothing to see here.
I did just take the censor off when it just shows the road, so you can prove this is in fact in Beijing. Okay?
Yes.
Just needed some proof. Okay,
You'll also notice there are a lot of little children around because it's outside of an elementary school.
Correct. You can pause it.
What happens at elementary schools in China these days?
These days, because of revenge on society attacks, people have been either stabbing children or running them over.
Yes.
It's like a huge phenomenon, and unfortunately, it's been happening daily, if not weekly.
Yeah.
At least the running over mass groups of people has been happening
every
daily.
single week. I've mentioned it, but we don't show it because it's a disturbing topic. It's not something that's nice to talk about. Look, it's the same as the school shootings in America.
Sure.
It's not comfortable to talk about. It's a reality that you have to face. In China, revenge against society attacks are very common.
Yeah.
And every time it happens, it's just like when there's a school shooting, everyone's like, oh, please, not again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do think it's unfair to compare them because of the frequency.
Yes.
The school shootings in America happen more than most countries in the world.
Yes.
Actually, all.
Yes.
But these revenge on society attacks, particularly running over little kids, happen if I had to do the math, I'm just going to guess 10 times more often.
Oh, yeah.
Look, if not more.
Again, the only reason I'm mentioning that, it's because
I agree.
It's the whole, like, when it happens, it's tragic. Nobody wants to think about it. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's not a pleasant thing.
Yes.
Obviously the frequency is more, and it's a different type of thing. School shootings are usually the kids in the school, like, shooting other kids. In China, it's usually an adult attacking little children.
Almost every time.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, it is every time.
It's every single time. Anyway, so can you tell us what this particular one is about?
This is at the entrance of Tianjin Primary School.
In Beijing.
Yes. Tianjin Primary School in Haidian District in Beijing. So one of the main districts of Beijing.
This was yesterday, right?
It was. On-site witnesses say that more than a dozen children were hit. This was yesterday.
Now, the reason we tell you that is... This also happened yesterday, was it? Or was it it was
2 days ago.
2 days ago. In Japan, there was a similar incident where an SUV ran into a group of young elementary kids as well, elementary school kids. And the SUV hit 10 of them, injured 4.
Some broken legs, I believe.
Yeah.
Thankfully, no deaths.
Yeah, luckily no deaths, but the SUV ran into a bunch of children. And... would you believe it, but it was a Chinese driver and a Chinese owner of the car.
What's weird about that, by the way? I don't hear people talking about what's weird about it.
What's weird about
see that car?
Oh, yeah.
That costs a lot of money.
It's a Land Rover Defender, a very expensive car.
How much does that cost in Japan? Should I pull it up?
It's got to be very expensive.
Maybe Jamie from Joe Rogan.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, what happened is they traced the car back to where it was parked at the hostel, the little place. And it was only Chinese people living in there. The car was registered to a Chinese individual. And they were supposedly doing pest control on a construction
So this
site.
car starts at $52,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are just migrant workers from China doing pest control.
Yeah, there's something very sus. There's probably some money laundering or human trafficking involved, my guess.
Yeah.
Either way, this revenge against society attack thing seems to be an export. Now it's a Chinese export, and that's worrying.
Yeah.
We saw it with the coffee thing in Australia.
I hate that it's also against children.
Yes.
When it's abroad.
Yes. I mean, that whole thing in Australia where the Chinese guy threw the hot coffee on the baby.
Yeah.
And then quickly fled to China afterwards.
Yeah. It's a
Remember?
thing.
It's definitely a problem. It's a Chinese societal issue, and it's being exported, and that's a bit worrying.
In China, instead of doing anything about it or acknowledging it, they cover it up, make it illegal to talk about.
Correct.
Right. When it does get too big, they pretend they downplay it as much as possible. So nothing's going to be solved when there's obviously something so sinister and evil boiling up in China.
Yeah.
And the Chinese government can't acknowledge it. It's not going to be solved.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, very weird. Anyway, to end the poll, what's more common? Cat meat got 36% and dog meat 64%. You guys are absolutely correct.
Yes.
Majority of you are correct. Dog meat is, in fact, much more common in China. I hear a lot of cat meat jokes, and it does exist in China. It's just a lot less common than dog meat.
Yes.
Dog meat is in every province, every city in China. In fact, next time, we always like to do an update.
Yeah, we do the
to see
search.
if there's less dog meat restaurants in China.
Never is.
The whole map is like red points of where the restaurants are, and each point is hundreds, some of them, hundreds
when
of
you
restaurants.
search in Baidu Maps for Goro Dian or just Goro, which means dog meat, and you'll see tons of results because China's full of dog meat restaurants.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's beside the point. It's time for a little Beyond the Great Firewall here. What do we have today?
It's where we take you inside the Chinese internet. And what I've recently been seeing is no mainstream articles, but lots of smaller kind of articles, right?
You mean the kind of places that might be incentivized to
I don't know.
Post these things?
Not going to say it because I don't know any of these sources. Sure. I will say it did pop up all over my news feed today when they are claiming China's CO2 emissions have started falling. Is this finally the peak, right? And a lot of these articles, not so much this one, but a lot of them are glazing China and saying China's figured it all out. Look, they did need to go through that period of pollution. They needed to go through their period of manufacturing. But because they've reduced manufacturing or sent it elsewhere or also increased their green technology usage, we're watching China's CO2 emissions and pollution fall. Yeah. And I just saw that and alarm bells go off in my head when it's not like a main source. It's not BBC, it's not CNN, it's not Fox, none of these places. Yeah. It's these weird like things that come up on TikTok and on Twitter, lots of Twitter.
Yep.
And I start thinking critically, and I say, well, let's have a look. Let's look at today's AQI. Let's look at the air quality index today.
Okay.
Because if that's the case, it should be quite good.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
We should see a good trend.
That doesn't look how many 999s I'm seeing in the center there.
999, by the way, just in America, anything like around 100 is like hazardous. 999 in China, right? It's off. It stops there.
It's off the scale.
It stops.
So it's
more
be
than
2,000.
That. Could be 5. That could be 9999.
Yes.
Could
be 1 million.
Could be. It could be when you go outside, it's a wall of particulate.
Parts per million, 1 million parts per million. It's just one. It's just one. Yeah, it's solid air.
It's solid air. But anyway, I just wanted to zoom in real quick.
Okay.
And these are not rural areas. I wanted to prove this. Okay. Zoom in again. Okay. Enhance. I mean, look at how many areas are like this, right?
Yeah.
This is in Luliang, right?
Yes.
Luliang, you'd say, oh, it's probably some like factory in the middle of the countryside, so they're going to pollute that area, but at least they're not doing populated areas, right?
Sure.
Now remember, this is just one dot, right?
Yeah.
If we look at
those other 9, there are 3 other 999s over there. Up there it's all 7999, 913. I mean, come on.
Oh, there is 999s off this.
There's tons.
But I just want to look at this. I mean, Luliang, this city has 3.4 million people.
Yes.
I mean, what's the equivalent of that? Major cities in America don't even have that much, most of them.
Take a look at the sort of lights at night picture that they put there.
Of course.
It's every time. You wouldn't, with 999, like deep level 999 pollution, it's going to just be black.
Now, I'm not stupid, by the way.
Yeah.
If people are saying, okay, year on year, we're looking at a certain time period, and based on that, if we compare it to that, maybe CO2 went down in that period. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be disingenuous to you guys.
Sure.
I understand that. My point is, these articles, and when people go onto this, never talk about what's actually happening in real life in China.
Yes.
They'll go and take a graph from a month here and a month here. Let's say in 2001 versus 2023 or something, right?
Yeah.
And they'll put those on and be like, look, see this slight difference or whatever. You can see it's kind of coming down. They're not being necessarily disingenuous. They're covering a certain time period. But I want to cover today, like reality.
Course. Also, conditions change.
Yes.
One year you'll have a lot of wind that might blow it away.
Well, and also CO2 emissions are... That won't affect that. But yes.
Oh, what? Okay, fine.
Are you being serious?
Of course I'm being serious. Look at this lovely wind blowing this CO2 emission everywhere.
That actually comes into play in a second. But we want to take some new clips.
Exactly. That's where you want to go for your beach holiday. Because you get to sit on the beach down there and overlook that pollution. And you know what? We did the same. Remember the Dayawang? Remember? We went to the resort and you're on the beach and you just see this massive smokestack.
It's true. And you know what? Everywhere we went, whenever we were in places like that, we would try to avoid it usually.
Yes.
To be look how beautiful
we wouldn't
it is.
film that part. Yeah. Also, look at all the empty buildings being built. And you know what blows my mind?
What?
You know those new apartments being built over there? Mm-hmm. People are clamoring to invest in an apartment that's got a beautiful view of a smokestack.
It's true.
Who in their right mind would do that? Why would
know.
you want to live there?
Now you may think this is one clip.
Oh,
this
no.
beach resort clip.
I mean, seriously.
Belching black smoke.
Yeah. You're going to spend your life savings to buy an apartment, which is only leased for a couple of years anyway, to have that view.
I think my biggest problem is the lives of Chinese people have to put up with this.
Yes.
And what is it? 99% of people are affected by air pollution in China.
Yeah.
But then you have Western articles, American articles.
Yes.
Talking about how China is the green future and we're lagging behind.
Yeah, this is now. And this specific clip I wanted to show because I think this might add a little bit of a human element to it. Because listen, guys, we can look at this and say, oh, smokestacks, it's terrible, the pollution's terrible. But, we lived there. I lived there for 14 years. You lived there over 10 years. And if you live there, you really start to have empathy with the local people in China. Because you live amongst them, right? Mm-hmm. You marry them. You become part of the family like we did. And to
marry tons of them.
Yeah, all the time. Let's just take a look at this clip. This next clip. Not this one. The one after this.
It's beautiful, though, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Says this pollution, is it big or not?
Yeah.
不是以前的夜夜是白月吗？怎么现在是黑色的嘞？
不知道啊，不知道为什么是黑色的呀。
So the little kid's like, why? The smoke is usually white. Why is it black? Why did it turn black? So he's used to seeing the white smoke come out of the smokestacks, but today it's black.
It's like it's a visual he has every day coming back from school.
That's where you want to raise your child, isn't that?
Your sky is pure particulate pollution.
I mean, it's...
Her response is...
That's your little kid, and you have to explain to them that we live like this. Why?
不知道啊，不知道为什么是黑色的呀，我也不知道哎，这有没有？对健康有没有损害哟？
没有，
没有损害。有损害啊？那怎么办呢？要不我们是中国人害中国人吗？天。
Yeah, it is interesting, huh? We're Chinese people harming the Chinese.
Yeah, if you guys are listening, basically a little kid says, because the smokestacks usually have white smoke, why did the smoke turn black? They're looking at apocalyptic pollution. The woman says, we Chinese people are harming Chinese people.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, why? Exactly.
This is very funny.
Yeah.
This people are aware.
Yes.
Like, don't ever think that Chinese people don't know any better. This is a bit of tongue in cheek.
Yeah. This is Asia's biggest white cloud production facility.
Comes through the chimney, then it floats through the air. And it travels all over the country. Everyone look. The white clouds that hang over Ordos and the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. It all comes from here.
Yeah, that's at least he's making light of the situation.
I mean, you have to. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable.
Yep. I mean, especially during the winters, it becomes apocalyptic.
This is a major city where people are going to work, taking their kids home.
Mm-hmm. That's where you grow up. You go to bed in that city, you know. And people buy these air purifiers to put in their houses, little tiny little box machine. Doesn't do anything really.
Just pause it there. I just want to cap this off by saying, it just drives me insane. Please don't be one of those people that just buys into this idea that China's figured out green technology and air pollution and CO2 emissions, and they're saving the world while America is like lagging behind and trying to pollute the world. It's quite literally the biggest heist of my generation.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where there's a lot of situations where you can't prove something. So you have to go through life and be like, well, that's just how it is, I guess, because your mom told you or your school told you or whatever. This is something you can prove just by looking at China.
Yeah.
Talk to Chinese people and ask them if the air pollution is bad. They'll say yes. Go look at air quality data across the country every day. You can track it daily.
Yeah.
And then you'll find out for yourself that China's not leading the world in anything other than pollution.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, you know. All you need to do is set up some kind of like article, have a solar panel, and then put a leaf with like a water droplet dropping off of it and stuff, and say China's new energies cleaning the world, and everyone believes it.
They make hundreds of those a day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, AI articles and like pump them out over and over again.
Yeah. Anyway,
it just pisses me off, dude.
You know what? But our audience is smart enough to know that's the truth. But you know what we all want is a Bollard report, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Bollard.
It's a Bollard report. Remember, in China, they're setting up bollards everywhere, which are those kind of ball-looking things, but they're also cylindrical.
Yeah, that's also a bollard, you know.
And why they're setting them up is to stop these mass attacks on society.
Like we showed you earlier on. It's to stop drivers ramming into pedestrians, okay?
Yes.
Also to stop people just randomly parking where they shouldn't, but mainly to stop the ramming.
Some enterprising folks.
Well, you know what? I think maybe the government's also finally, upping its social programs now, because now it's offering a monetary, retirement plan for this garbage collector.
Yeah, this is facetious because what he's joking about is this recycling man. By the way, these old people have to scrape by, the skinniest people you ever see in your life. Will go around and basically take people's recycling and bottles and stuff just to make ends meet.
Yes.
And this guy, see his big recycling cart.
Yeah.
He's gonna go and make a couple yuan.
That entire cart that he's got back there, I mean, he's probably gonna make $5.
Yes.
US off that entire amount.
So to supplement that, he goes, you know what? I'm gonna start stealing metal bollards.
Yeah, because the metal will sell for a little more than the styrofoam or whatever he's got there.
Yeah.
Cardboard and stuff.
So he's stealing a metal bollard.
Yes.
To go sell.
And he probably stole that other one that's missing.
Oh yeah. He probably already got one done.
He went for the weaker ones.
I love that nobody does anything either. Now, Bollards could have prevented this sad situation.
You mean this sad situation?
Yes. That could have been prevented with a bollard because they would have stopped and walked around.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes. Let's see it in slow-mo. And listen is more important.
Yeah. The 3 screams.
Yes, dude.
It's the 3 screams.
1, 2,
That's
3.
a deep cut.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. So we got one bollard preventable situation.
I got another one too.
Okay.
So this could have been prevented by a bollard as well.
Okay. He's kind of okay.
Yeah, he broke his
He did
heel.
break his heel bones, though, on both sides.
Yeah.
As you can see
Yeah,
there.
he did.
Left and right heel bone.
He did.
Yeah, that's his medical report.
I broke my heel in China too.
Yeah.
Similar situation. Did not like try to show off and be a cool guy and jump off something.
Yeah,
Just tried to get over something I shouldn't have.
Okay.
And when I broke my heel, I had to go to the bone doctor, and I've told the story a million times. But when I went in there, basically the whole hospital showed up to watch me because I was a foreigner.
Yeah.
And the doctor was just like shooing people away, and they literally huddled around me while I got examined. And the doctor is smoking in my face.
It's hilarious.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is China."
Oh yeah.
Bollard.
Oh no. Okay.
We're gonna have to re-examine that one.
Wow. All right.
Pause it at the beginning.
You see the flowers in the background? That means it's like there's an event. Now it could either be a shop's opening or some kind of wedding or there's some big event. I mean, it can even be a funeral. Although usually they would use white flowers for the funeral. And what they've got is they've got a little band, impromptu band, and playing the most wonderful music you've ever heard in your life.
You know what he's probably thinking?
Bollard.
He's probably thinking, what's...
He's probably like...
What a wonderful song. How come I've never heard it before?
David Lopan says, I was conceived to this song. This guy shows up with a cleaver.
Yes, because he's obviously been trying to sleep or take a nap, and this music just started, and he's like, I'm just not having any of this.
Yes. Someone says, what key is that? They're trying to practice. They're like, what key was this in? They're like, all of them.
Yes. So he's telling them to shut up. I like how he's like, shut up, and like waving a cleaver, and then what do they do in response?
They don't give a shit.
No. It's so bad.
You know what I would do?
What? Hang on.
Oh my gosh, there's another my dear Chocolado, dude.
Oh yeah, I'll throw that in there. Where is that nonsense?
Oh my dear Chocolado.
You know why I said that? Look at this shirt. It's the Me Too movement.
Metu.
But it's Metu. And it says what?
Me is very attractive. While playing that freaking bugle thing. Me is very attractive.
Like, please play through it one more time
Okay.
and finish it off with a mason brick.
Okay, I will.
No, start it with how come I never heard it before.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
we'll do it right. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it right.
What a wonderful song. How come I've never heard it before?
Bollard.
Oh,
Yes, like Me Too. Oh, yeah. I freaking love this. This is like
So
pinnacle
bad.
brain rot. It has to be like the most cacophonous shit.
it's horrible.
Yeah, Mason needs to throw a brick.
Yeah, he does. All right, back to some monkey business over here.
Tweedle says, please do not make this a sound.
No, I don't think there's any.
kinda
No,
want
I don't think so. That's horrible.
Me too.
Yeah, hashtag shut up. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. So we got a little monkey business going on here.
Yeah. Do not touch the monkeys. Apparently, at this,
Yeah.
I believe it was Yunnan or Guangxi Zoo.
Yep.
That's so good. Do you know why?
Why?
Well, I mean, not good, but funny. He didn't touch the
monkey.
monkey.
No, the woman behind him touched the monkey, and he turned around and attacked the man.
He ate his face.
Yeah, well, he didn't actually.
He bit his face.
Yeah, there's no blood or anything. He's fine. Just got a shock.
Just play that one more time, because I do want to see the. I want to show that he didn't do. It's not his fault.
Okay.
So she screwed that guy over so bad.
Yeah, it's really terrible.
Give us a thumbs up if you approve of the monkey's actions.
Yeah, look at everybody like backing off. By the way,
I know.
What's this?
I just thought this was an interesting meme.
Okay.
Now this is Oppenheimer, right? Developer of the nuclear bomb, hydrogen bomb.
Yes, exactly.
Now I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. This is a Chinese meme, by the way. Killed 0.2 million.
Yes.
Then Mao says, "What the hell is he talking about?"
Yeah, killed 45 million. Yep, that's true.
Yes.
Good meme.
Good
Yeah.
meme, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we got contacted by a very good investigative journalist called Lane, who you can see up in the corner, and
Left, yeah.
we actually just came back. We just flew back from filming a show with Lane. And he works with the Louder with Crowder show.
That's right.
And
we did it with David Zhang and Shelley Zhang as well.
So that's Shelley from China Uncensored and David Zhang from China Insider.
That's right.
So we all got together and did a really good show with Lane.
We won't give away the topic yet,
Yes.
but it's wicked good. It's wicked good.
Yeah, so we wanted to let you guys know it'll be coming out probably around Memorial Weekend thereabouts.
Yes.
We don't know an exact date, and we don't want to spoil it, but it's going to be pretty epic.
Yes. But speaking of which, Louder with Crowder did a fantastic piece on the Oklahoma marijuana grow-ups.
Yes, the illegal grow-ups, the Chinese grow-ups.
Lane did the story, I believe.
Yeah.
Where
he did the investigative journalism. He went out to some of the grow stuff. He went to the buildings where they were being financed, things like that.
Yeah, and so they found that Chinese people are running these very profitable and completely illegal criminal organizations and operations. So I want to play it. There's a link to the episode. They did a great job with that. So there's a link.
So we're just going to show you a little clip of the thing, because we saw Lane in that documentary and we were really impressed with his work. And so when he reached out, we were like, yeah.
So go check it out. It's down below.
Take a look.
On the Chinese government's involvement, specifically in Oklahoma.
It comes as a shock to me that these large-scale organizations could be operating in the United States in such a large degree without some sort of at least tacit approval from the Chinese Communist Party. Is there any link there that you've seen or identified where you at least see involvement or kind of approval from the CCP? Is there any indication of that at all?
Well, there's 100% evidence that the Chinese Communist Party is absolutely aware of everything that their citizens are doing within the borders of their country and our U.S. borders.
Is something called straw ownership, where the company is set up by someone in Oklahoma ostensibly, but oftentimes it's someone that's out of state or a foreign national.
Politics is a tough subject to tackle. It can feel hard to wrap your head around it, and sometimes it feels inconsistent and incomprehensible. Sometimes it's just too much too often. We can all acknowledge that politics often feels like a whirlwind of information.
But that's why you should go check out NPR Politics Podcast like I did, to decode what goes down in Washington and what every decision out there might mean for you and me. Every episode makes it easy for you to understand what's going on, from the complete restructure of the federal government to immigration policy, tariffs, trade. They break everything down into normal human language so that you can walk away understanding what the headlines mean for you.
Every day, the NPR Politics Podcast team will focus on one thing and boil it down to 15 minutes or less. Think of it as your political multivitamin.
I found the show to be easy to listen to. The vibe was light, and the hosts were clear, and it made me feel like I got a handle on things when I listened to them.
Politics might move fast, but you can count on the NPR Politics Podcast to declutter it for you. Listen now to the NPR Politics Podcast, only from NPR, wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, sorry, muted. What do we got here?
This is our good buddy Jordan. Also, we're going to plug his podcast because he just did an episode. It was episode 1154. So go to jordanharbinger.com/1154 or go to @JordanHarbinger Show. You'll find out if you keep playing. He just did an episode, a fantastic, super good episode, also akin to that whole Chinese crime organization thing.
Yep.
With Sean Williams. He talks about how North Korea and China basically run massive crime units, crime operations abroad to get foreign currency and also to bolster support and power for their governments. And remember, like, China is not a country that operates legally. I think a lot of people get confused. They think of North Korea and China as, yeah, they're authoritarian, but they're tough on crime or something. They are the crime. They run the crime. They
are the crime.
Right?
Yeah.
North Korea operates as a massive organized crime outfit, generating revenue through forced labor, human trafficking, drug production, trafficking, and cybercrime to fund the regime's survival. North Korean hackers, the Lazarus Group, have become sophisticated cybercriminals, stealing $1.5 billion in cryptocurrency from Bybit Exchange in February 2025. Chinese flying money, Feiqian, operates as an ancient, untraceable money transfer system now widely used by drug cartels and for capital flight from China, possibly totaling $2 trillion annually. Annually.
Yep.
Chinese money laundering has had a visible impact on real estate markets in Vancouver, Toronto, Sydney, and Los Angeles, where properties purchased with laundered funds remain unfinished and abandoned. Despite public diplomatic cooperation between U.S. and China on financial crimes, both countries have conflicting incentives. China benefits from U.S. drug chaos, while the U.S. benefits from Chinese capital flight. So there's a weird thing going on.
Yep.
Excellent analysis. I would go check it out. It's free. Go listen to it. So you got a lot of homework to do after the show.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's always good to get all sides of the story. And so get your information wherever you can.
Yep.
You know, don't only, stick in your echo chambers. It's always good to go around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether you're right, left, middle, hopefully most of us are somewhere in the moderate side.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Independent. You're an independent thinker. You don't need to, stick to any one side.
You do need to do is, I think Saltate Waters is hearing something again.
Oh
yes.
No. Okay, it's time for Tina's trash, isn't it?
It is.
Let's get her started. Let's see, Tina's trash.
Boss?
What's happening?
She's got a new song.
Many auto parts in my
What a wonderful
warehouse.
song. How come I've
What
never
you're
heard of it?
thinking? Why don't you order from me? If you're looking for them, please look for me. I have auto parts for models.
Nice. Carry that tune.
Very models engines in my warehouse.
I think she forgot some words.
Don't talk about them.
Don't about
They are
them.
very beautiful. They are very company and very low melody.
Melody.
I have engines for models.
Bring it home, Tina.
Many auto parts in my warehouse. Many engines in my warehouse. Many auto parts.
Oh, really playing the whole
in
thing.
my
Yes.
warehouse.
Wow.
Many engines in my warehouse.
Can't believe she did a follow-up.
Yeah, there's more.
There's more.
There's more.
Are they all the same tune?
No.
Ah, good.
Got a little bit of Michael Jackson mixed in there. Yeah, we'll bring something cool next time.
So that segment's going to be called Tina's Trash.
Yeah, we'll bring it in every once in a while.
Okay, when she drops a new hit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's cool. All right, so what do we got coming up next?
We have It's Soft Power Hour.
This is the main segment of the show where we talk about how China's trying to change your mind through propaganda and soft power.
That's right. What did you see? What have you been seeing?
Well, we've been seeing up until now, I hope you picked up on the theme so far in this episode, is we're trying to show you the darker side of Chinese society, and that is the low trust aspect of it, And you're going to see more of that in a minute, because China right now is making a huge propaganda push to try and lie to you and say that China is some sort of high trust utopia. It's crazy.
So welcome to the new segment called Crime in China.
Yes.
No green screens, only the truth.
Yes.
So we first saw it from Lord Pawpaw, I believe.
Yes, Lord Pawpaw.
I believe you may have called him this.
Well, he's got a couple of names around here.
Gotcha.
Flat Cat McDonald's, Da Huo Pang Wang or whatever.
Okay.
But, Lord Pawpaw.
Okay.
Because Lord Haw Haw from World War II, right?
Gotcha.
So this is Lord Pawpaw, because he looks like a pawpaw.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Okay.
We call papaya pawpaw in South Africa.
It's interesting. That you left your mark on it, I can see.
Yeah. Anyway, Lord Pawpaw had something to say. Let's take a listen to what he has to say. Because he works for Chinese state media. He is a propagandist.
Yeah, he's basically...
He is paid by the Chinese state.
He's one of the bigger foreign faces that the Chinese government pays to spread lies for the Chinese government, like overtly.
Yeah, I mean, they have him on Chinese state. He is their employee.
Behind me, you can see that in this community, they have all of these boxes left out, which are deliveries for the people who live in this community. And they're completely open to the public, and they just sit out there for days. If I go away on vacation for a week or two, I come back, none of my packages are ever missing. People diligently only take those deliveries which belong to them. And this is accessible to the street. So you can see the street is just right out here. Anyone could just walk up and take anything they want, but they don't.
Something that only you can do in China is leave your parcel out. Look at this. All of these parcels. You can only do this in China because it's super safe.
Chinese people just leave packages here. They're so honest. No cameras and no people.
Really? So we thought we'd have a little look. You could just play this through.
Yes.
I saw this campaign, and that was just 3 clips out of, I don't know how many right now, but
she's stealing that package, by the way. This is clips of people stealing the packages.
From very recently, by the way. So I saw this campaign of foreigners walking around saying the exact same thing over and over again with a little different wording.
Yeah.
Right? Just saying, look, you can leave your packages out. Nobody steals them. And alarm bells are ringing out in my head. I'm like, that is the dumb... You would never make that claim to a Chinese person in Chinese.
No.
Right? So what do? I go on the Chinese internet and I look up, it is a massive problem. In fact, it's an epidemic in China of people going and stealing other people's packages. It's not a secret. Yeah. And it's funny that the Chinese government's employing this huge campaign now.
By the way, did you see that guy dressed as if he was like a delivery guy in order to go steal the packages?
To put all this money and time and effort into this huge campaign to make other people, English speakers across the world, think China's super safe and super high trust and all this kind of stuff. It's clearly from the top because they're all saying the same thing, and it's so inorganic, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, if you ask a Chinese person, they would say, what are you talking about? I always get my packages robbed.
Yes.
Just the other day, there was bazillions of people robbed. It's so prolific that the police station and the CCP, I got some of this footage from the CCP.
Yes.
It's from their official crime channel.
This is an official...
This is the police,
the police
department
bulletin.
of Mao Ming.
Yeah.
Right?
It's showing, look, she got one package that she stole. Look, there's another package that she stole. She's looking for stuff from like JD.com or those more expensive ones, because you can see from the boxes she's taking. She's very selective. She's going for the expensive stuff.
This is not to say this doesn't happen anywhere in the world.
Yeah, but
this is to say that China is the lowest trust society I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
You can't leave stuff out.
No.
It gets stolen rampantly. So much so, they make TV official CCP programs
This is the police putting out the bulletin. So see the juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Within the borders of China, the police, the CCP, will put out these bulletins saying, watch out for these package thieves.
They're all over.
Be careful, don't leave your stuff around. It's going to get stolen. They've got these for like e-bike thefts and stuff too. But for the outward-facing propaganda, they say, look at this. You leave your packages here, nobody will steal them.
Just play it through.
I will.
Lots of examples.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just, it kind of really annoys me that they can just lie so openly and pay their propagandists to lie so openly.
They're clearly being paid or something because there's no reason to say the exact same thing as 10, 20, 30 influencers walking around China from all different countries saying, look, you can leave your packages. You can only do this in China because it is so safe.
Yeah.
When the reality is, it's just not the case. It's rampant.
Of course.
It's everywhere.
China's a very low trust society. I mean, look,
full of thievery.
That woman just stole a bunch of packages.
These aren't poor people.
No.
It's just, if something's out, it's kind of free for the taking.
Yeah.
That's how China works.
Yep.
It's
more package thefts here. So
you could do this all day.
Yeah, no, we've found thousands of videos.
There's thousands of videos, and they're not secret.
No,
they're to warn people.
And that's when you go onto the Chinese internet, it's very apparent.
It's not something they need to hide from their people because everyone knows they're a victim of this.
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
but it's something in what they're trying to. What we figured out. There's a reason we're showing you this. What we figured out is China. What they're trying to do is piggyback off of the respect and order
and reputation
that Japan and Korea have.
Yes. Right? That's exactly what you're saying. Everybody knows that in Japan, because you hear the stories, and I mean, we've experienced it ourselves. You drop your wallet or something, people will like actually pick it up and chase you and be like, hey, you forgot your wallet, or the police will have it for you and track you down to your hotel to return it. China is not like that.
I've had my wallet stolen in China.
Yes.
It's the opposite. They relieved me of
But a lot of they're like expecting people to be ignorant and mix the two together.
Yes,
Okay.
and they do that, and they do that for TikTok. They do it for TikTok and Red Note and these other apps because people that aren't familiar with Asia will say, "Oh, Asia is safe. Asia is this," and then China gets to ride off of that, and they have to attribute the same kind of stereotypes, positive stereotypes that Japan and Korea get to themselves, and that's why you get Lord Pawpaw and these guys doing this stuff.
And you know how disingenuous it is for them to walk into like a secure neighborhood in a very secure city where there are security guards sitting close by and cameras everywhere and say, look, no one steals anything. I've never seen it. It's like me walking out into the streets here in like this rural like town nearby. And, look, no one gets shot here in America. There's no gun violence.
It's the same idea.
It's the same idea. It's stupid. Like, you know what I mean?
It doesn't exist because it's not happening right behind
now.
me right
exactly.
now.
It's the dumbest thing
It's
ever.
also set up. Let's be honest. A lot of these are going to be Potemkin setups.
Yes, of course.
For the shot.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, this is he's not going to tell us about bikes.
It's not just him.
Yes.
This was lots of people too. So there was another campaign to say, and I figured out the genesis, by the way. I can tie this directly to CCP propaganda.
Okay.
Was to go around and show that people leave the keys in their e-bikes and motorcycles and they don't get stolen, which is just crazy.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Their bike. Someone's delivery, just waiting on the bike with the key in the ignition. Again and again.
Really?
Yeah,
More ridiculous
I'll
than
just
the
take the volume
package
down.
thing.
Yeah.
Is the idea
they'll just steal the wheel.
That they'll steal the wheel, the battery. This is an entire family that goes around stealing e-bikes.
Yeah, see, just pushing it away.
Within the past couple months.
Yep.
I got all these clips very recently.
Look, now, this is the best. The guy's putting up the
get us out
Chinese
of there.
flags. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Government worker putting up the Chinese
Dude,
flag.
I'm sorry. We have to start that again. It's just too good.
Yeah, this one's funny.
So, you know, every time there's a government holiday,
Yeah.
I'll get us out when it comes up. Every time there's a government holiday, they put the Chinese flags up, you know, for national pride, you know. It's kind of like 4th of July in America. You see American flags everywhere. But they put them on all the street poles. So he's arrived on his e-bike, this government worker. He's putting the flags up. And someone steals his bike while he's putting
it's got
up
the
the
keys in it.
national flag.
It's,
You know what I mean? They've
free.
got no respect. I mean, if they had any respect for their country, or this guy's like, where did it go, right?
Yes. E-bike theft is so outlandishly rampant in China.
Yeah.
It's never mind leaving your keys
Yeah, look,
in the bike.
this is last month, the end of last month, 2025. The date's up in the corner. All of these
It's
are
a
very
couple weeks
recent.
ago.
Yeah, it's yeah. There they go, steal that bike.
If you were to approach, I mean, again, Lord Pawpaw and these shills and these people that work for the Chinese government go around saying, and I saw this multiple, we should have included more people saying it.
Yeah,
people just leave
like that
their
that woman from Spain.
Yeah, people just leave their e-bikes.
I can't believe
Wow,
it.
I can't, this would never happen.
Yes,
where
exactly.
I'm from, or in America. They always throw America in there. This would never happen in America.
Yeah.
Let's listen to this.
对啊，
当时是几点啊？几点钟？
10点10分左右。
So around 10:10,
没有锁。
she left her car there. They stole 6,000 RMB out of her car. Just translate on the fly. And ran off, right? She was going to use it for the New Year's gifts, right? How long did you park there? 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Right?
Stolen.
So you get your car robbed. You get your e-bike robbed. They take your motorcycle. They don't take it necessarily only if it has the keys in it. They'll break the lock. They have sophisticated tools to make sure the steering lock doesn't work, or they'll break or saw off the steering lock.
Yeah.
There is so much. If you were to walk up to a Chinese person, Winston, and you said, hey, is it okay to is it safe to kind of like park your motorcycle or your e-bike outside
And leave the keys in it.
Leave the keys in it. What
They'd
would they say?
No
They would
way.
They would laugh at
They
you.
would. They would laugh at you. They'll say, "This is not America. This is not where you're from."
The thing that it pisses me off, right?
So
this
break
is
it open.
police footage on the news, on
Yes.
the state media.
Yes.
Going against everything that these paid shills have to say.
Yeah.
And it shows you the juxtaposition. It's like when we found that website about like Chinese space program or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the Chinese language version of the
Then
website,
it's all like evil
missiles
rockets and
blowing up America.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you go to the English site, it's like doves.
Let's work together. You know. Yeah.
China is in two different worlds.
It is. Completely.
They pay or incentivize foreign people, usually white people,
Yeah.
to go out there and say to the rest of the world that China is this and that and this and that and this and that. And it's 100% a lie.
Yes.
When in reality, they have to lie about the most obviously untrue thing.
This is in the middle of Shanghai.
Yes.
And the batteries are stolen out of this e-bike.
Where, by the way, there's a propaganda campaign coming out of the Shanghai CCP.
Yeah, you said you found the... Is it here, or you're just going to tell us?
No, I mean, I'll just tell you about it.
Yeah, tell us the origin. What's the origin of all this e-bike propaganda?
So the e-bike propaganda, Shanghai CCP, the Chinese government in Shanghai, created this thing saying they're going to really crack down on e-bike theft, right? This is a little while back. So a bunch of verbatim script Chinese videos started coming out.
Yeah.
But then there'd be 100 videos of people in Shanghai getting all their stuff stolen.
See, the batteries are stolen. That's the most valuable part of the bike, and that's very common. Is they just break it and steal it. Oh, wait. I guess we got to see what is Lord Paw saying over there.
Anyway, we could literally show this e-bike theft.
Yeah, it goes.
It's one of the most common crimes in China.
Yeah, it is.
To lie about that is crazy to me.
Yes, to say that your bike's not... We've had our own bikes stolen.
Multiple times.
Yeah. And it's, it's just... Yeah, when people lie with those bald-faced lies, it kind of makes me mad, you know?
Well, because I think it's indicative of so much more than just theft in China. You don't have to care about theft in China.
Yeah, that's in Shanghai.
Yeah. Most of the stuff I did on purpose, I picked Shanghai.
Picked Shanghai. You know, when you steal the battery out of a bike, it's useless. The batteries are like 70 to 80% the cost of the bike.
Yeah.
And especially when it's in rough shape like that, it's not worth fixing it. You have to just throw it away, buy a new one. So that's why they just steal the batteries.
Yeah, but they also steal the bikes.
Yeah, of course they do, if they're in good shape.
Yeah.
Because China is a very high-trust society.
Really?
China's one of the lowest trust societies, if not the lowest trust society I know.
I need to do a full analysis on that, and I won't talk about why. But I found something that I think I know where this is coming from.
So, by the way, what's happening here is the father is walking out. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And this like middle-aged, or
you probably turned it down.
Yeah, this elderly lady is picking up his son, and he's like, "Oh, okay, what's going on?" And when he looked at the security camera footage, he realized how serious it was, because she was a kidnapper. All right, take a look. She walks up to the kid. She like tries to move him along. Okay, then she tries to grab him. And he's like, "No, I don't want to go with you." So she physically tries to pull him. See, trying to take him away, trying to kidnap him, and he becomes a dead weight. Very smart, very smart. I mean, he's young. I'm, really glad that he did that. And then the father came walking out. Luckily, and if you hear the Chinese, he's calling for his dad. He's like, "Baba, Baba," the whole time. So the father's like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then she just pretends like she was helping him up or something, and then just walks off. But
there is a van around the corner with multiple people in it with drugs to knock out the child. 70,000 children per year. Last estimate. It's gone up.
Yeah, the last estimate, they don't release the statistics anymore.
Yeah.
But it's so bad, you can see people tether children to themselves to make sure they don't get kidnapped.
Ask any Chinese person.
Yeah. This is not what's called a high trust society.
It's the lowest.
Yeah.
The lowest of the low.
Nobody really talks about the kidnapping. I think, honestly, like I've made a couple of videos in the past. We talked about it on the show, but you never see people talking about it. It is so severe. It is so severe that when my parents-in-law came to visit last time, they would not let my daughter out of their sight.
No.
Now, I take her down to the parks here and I let her go play. I mean, I'm keeping an eye on her, but she's like over there. I'm happy that no one's going to run up and grab her. They would not leave her side the entire time. And I was like, you can relax. It's America, but it's so built in. They couldn't. You know what I mean? It's scary, They worry about it. She goes into like a gym class. She's doing gym with her friends in the class. Well, you can still see it. They couldn't, they were too anxious to just let her be there.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
Ask any Chinese person, would you let your kid go play by themselves?
Yeah.
Or out of your sight, they would say absolutely not.
Yeah.
And so for these shills that work for the Chinese government to know this stuff, they know this stuff.
Of course they do.
Right? Mm-hmm. To go out there and say that and betray the truth and betray the 70,000 plus children that get kidnapped every year.
Yeah, and say it's a high trust society.
And to say it's a high trust society and there's nothing to worry about and everything's totally fine, and then whitewash these crimes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because China is a very high trust society.
The last time they stopped counting was in 2013. Or started counting 2013. Yeah. since then they stopped counting.
Yeah.
It got exponentially worse.
Yeah, they don't release it.
Estimates are now saying, so like human rights groups around the world are estimating maybe around 150,000 kidnappings per year. In China.
Because it's a money-making thing.
Yes.
We won't go into it in too much detail. Okay. Thought we'd shift the tone a little bit and make it a little funnier over here. What you've got here is you've got a security guard who's obviously in charge of this area, and you've got a beggar. Okay, now listen to what's being said on his little loudspeaker.
这个老头是骗子.
Yeah, this old man's a liar, or this old man's a cheat.
Yeah.
Now, why would he be saying that? Because like the beggar's sitting there, he's got his crutches and stuff, you know. So he's obviously, I'm disabled, please help me out. He's obviously a con man. He obviously has nothing wrong with him. So the security guard is like, well, I can't make him move. He's probably asked him to move a bunch of times. So he's just going to put a loudspeaker and blast him the whole day on repeat. Probably like 100,000 times. So anyone walking past, he's ruining his business.
Yeah.
And I actually experienced this firsthand. It's kind of funny. I wanted to show you. See that woman on the crutches, that she's leaning on the crutch of this beggar, these beggars that I filmed? You know what's really funny? What? See. Time to pick up your crutch and walk away. It's time to go home now. Don't need your crutch anymore. So you see, it's kind of common. She obviously doesn't need a crutch. She's just using it to get sympathy, to get paid, you know. And again, high trust society, right?
High trust society.
Mm-hmm. Now this little clip we're going to show you right now, which happened just very recently, is going to prove to you.
It was a few months ago.
Yeah, a couple of months ago. It's recently. It's this year. It's going to prove to you why people don't help people when they're in trouble. Okay, you got a young girl riding a bike. She falls over. It's not a bad fall. She doesn't really hurt herself. Shop owner runs out, helps her up, makes sure she's okay. The shop owner's wife, like, even helps to take the bike back to the family. You know, she walks off to her family just over there, as you can see in the distance. Then the family comes over.
That's their kid, right?
Yeah, that's the shop owner's little kid. Then that family comes over and starts blaming him, saying he pushed the little girl over and has to pay compensation.
Yep.
You know?
That's very common, by the way.
Super common. So that's why people don't help each other, because if you try to do a good thing in China, you get punished for it.
Yeah.
You get punished by the conmen, you get punished by the opportunists, you get punished by the government.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult place to be a good person.
It is.
You know?
It's so hard.
Low trust society.
Yeah.
Think about it. High trust society, this wouldn't happen.
No.
You know? See, there's the uncle of the child trying to, you know, get compensation. Becomes a whole big thing. But he had the security camera footage.
五一的时候，我跟我的朋友去江西旅游。
Went to Jiangxi on 5/1. That's their national day or whatever.
Yes.
And she parked outside and then had her shoes stolen right out of her car, and she's just like, what the heck, because they left everything else, they just wanted to steal the shoes. But in this case, you can see somebody here going into a parked car.
Okay, I'm seeing one of those wasteful orange trees.
Yeah, I wanted to point out this specific clip just because you think it's like some like raggedy clothes wearing person, you know what I mean?
Sure.
The kind of like the beggars you just showed, right? Oftentimes it's not. It's opportunists.
Yeah.
Because if you leave something out in China, it's almost like the person that steals it.
Yeah.
They don't think they're doing anything wrong because you're dumb enough to leave it out.
Yeah.
That's how low trust China is.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's almost like, yeah, if you told someone, oh no, someone robbed this from me, they'd be like, good, you idiot. Why'd you leave that out?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how low it is. It's the lowest.
Lowest of the low, man. Well, it ran off with the goods. Again, though, why are you leaving your car unlocked? I'm maybe it's just because I grew up in South Africa, but the idea of leaving your car unlocked is, here's some pickpockets. It's just absurd to me.
This is recently, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, again, something you really have to watch out for in China, pickpockets.
Yeah, we've both been victims.
Yes.
I had an electronic dictionary stolen from me. I also stopped a bunch of pickpockets. So what's happening here?
This is one where someone caught him, which is funny. So this guy catches somebody that stole his phone, pickpocket.
Oh, okay.
I did want to point something out, just because it's just desserts to watch someone get caught.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But I wanted you guys to notice something.
Oh, is that the guy getting caught there? Yeah, look, he's got caught.
I want you to notice something in the background.
Yeah.
China's also...
Oh, you mean the homeless people?
Yeah, those, those shills we just saw?
Yeah.
Saying that you can leave your bike, you can leave your packages. They also, last year, did a huge campaign with the most foreign shills I've ever seen, saying that there's no homeless people in China. And it's funny, because when you see a clip like this, where it has nothing to do with homeless people...
Yeah.
When I was watching those shills, I was like, was I crazy? Because when I was in China, I saw homeless people everywhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so I see modern footage like this of someone getting their, catching a thief or whatever, and I see homeless people all over the place. And I go, no, I wasn't crazy.
No.
I was falling for the propaganda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? China's absolutely filled to the brim with homeless people.
Yeah.
We've seen them everywhere we've gone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's never been any doubt. It was really funny. Remember there was a Reddit post a while back where... someone was like, there are no homeless people in China. So someone on Reddit said, I bet you if I go downstairs from my apartment, he's living in China, I could take a picture of at least 10.
Yeah.
And he did. He went down,
whole street.
and it was just homeless people. And then they deleted his thread.
Yeah, because it was on like a China supremacy
exactly.
subreddit, which somehow, oh, by the way, some of those China, like Sino, whatever, they stay up, right? Mm-hmm. And they make vicious attacks against us and against and support the CCP's atrocities, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But then when there's critical subreddits or critical things about China, they get removed.
Yeah, of course.
Very interesting.
It is interesting.
But this is just the other day, by the way.
Yes.
You can see all the homeless people.
Yeah, just to show you that, yes, there are homeless people in China. Yes, there are many homeless people in China. And to think that there aren't is absurd.
These are in first-tier cities, by the way.
Yes, they're correct. I recognize the Shenzhen station in one of the previous clips. It's just one of those things, guys. The propaganda is going hard and fast at the moment, like really hard and fast, to try and promote this spick and span clean image of China, to try and make you as a Westerner feel like your country is somehow worse than China.
Yeah.
And that's how they win the hearts and minds of the young people specifically. It's like, look at this utopia that China is, What's coming next?
Well, it's just a bunch of, supplemental crime footage, but I think we have to keep moving on.
Yeah, we can keep moving on. I think people get the idea.
Yeah, people break in with all kinds of sophisticated tools into your house.
When you buy your house or your apartment in China, one of the things you invest in is a very solid door. Mm-hmm. And even that didn't work with these guys.
Yeah.
That was a metal door.
Yeah.
Because they look wood, but they're made out of metal.
Yeah.
You pay for like these very expensive thick doors to prevent people from breaking in. Anyway. I'll make us big over here and just kind of scroll.
I just wanted to cap this off by saying,
you got people breaking into your house at night.
Yeah.
A friend of ours had that happen to him, had his stuff stolen in his room. We've mentioned that before.
It's
while he was sleeping.
It's so commonplace. Mm-hmm. And I just don't fall for it.
Yeah.
You're going to see, and again, I don't necessarily think in the world, like if you consider us a geopolitics show, I don't think this is the most important thing to cover. What I think is important to cover is what this means.
Yes.
If China needs to put so much money, time, and effort to pump TikTok propaganda campaigns and Red Note, and then put it on Reddit, and then put it on YouTube, and pay all these people to do this, and they make such a big deal out of it, there's something you need to pay attention to.
Sure.
We need to know, why are they doing this? Because it's the opposite of the truth. It's a 180 of the truth, right?
Yeah.
Why are they trying to do this? Well, I think...
Look, it's a split pig.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. I personally think what they're trying to do right now is specifically target young people, Gen Z, that age group.
Can I just explain, and don't lose your train of thought. That split pig has been left there for the restaurant for in the morning. Yeah. It's like that's the delivery. Like how the milkman delivers milk?
Yeah.
The split pig man delivers that and throws it on the dirty ground, and that's what you're going to eat when you go to that restaurant.
Correct. That
split pig that you see there. Anyway, I'm sorry. Carry on with the Gen Z thing.
What I think is happening, you can play these.
Yeah, well.
What I think is happening is China is investing, and I think this is alarming and shocking and horrible, billions of dollars right now to pump these campaigns out to say China's a high-trust society, China doesn't have thieves, China doesn't have this, China doesn't have homeless people, China, while you, in America, are constantly fighting each other. There's racism. There's homelessness. There's drug problems. There's blah, blah. They're doing this counter campaign So they pump out a negative message to Americans to make Americans hate their country, right?
Yes.
Hate their situation. And then simultaneously, dual use technology, pump out a message that says China is not only the alternative, the better alternative, it's utopia. Mm-hmm. And we are innocent of anything that your government or your media says about us, because actually in reality, it's perfect, right? When I see a country doing that at such an alarming rate, because America doesn't do that.
No.
We're not pumping out freaking TikTok campaigns about how China's falling apart, right?
Yeah, there's how much better America is.
There's a joke about how the U.S. government is funding like propaganda and stuff, and then U.S. aid goes away, and they're like, you guys were paid by U.S. aid. Well, clearly not, because we're still here, guys.
Yeah.
People who understand China, like us, can bring you the truth, show you the reality, show you what our experience was on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. When we lived in China for so long, show current footage, current situations to counter this narrative. Because what I think the ultimate goal is to get Gen Z and kind of the general populace of hundreds of millions of Americans that use TikTok to turn on their country. And if there is some sort of conflict in the future over Taiwan or over anything, then they will be demoralized, not support their own country, see China as the alternative and also the innocent victim in this scenario.
You know, TikTok is always there to drive division amongst Americans.
Yeah.
And currently they are, and I'm convinced myself as an educated guess, that they're pushing this big narrative of something called black fatigue.
Yes.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah, we're going to get into it next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is something that I'm almost 100% convinced is the Chinese government using TikTok to
I'm almost positive.
to create more division within the American public. So guys, if you're seeing a lot of that stuff, please don't buy into it. Mm-hmm. You know,
they're manipulating the right, the left, anyone. They'll pick. They're not on your team. China not
because
based.
that whole topic is dividing the left and the right like crazy, and that's what China wants. And they're using their own platform to push that on you. Mm-hmm. So please be very careful of that.
So that was my point. It's not necessarily that we need to show you footage of people being victims of theft in China. It's that this is part of something very large, and it's information warfare.
Yes, and again, we were having a little bit of a debate, you know, in the beginning to show like the thefts in the shops and stuff, because of course that happens everywhere, right? And we could just dismiss it and say, well, you know, thefts happen in American shops too, you know, shoplifting and all this stuff. You see the videos of, you know, the CVS getting looted and stuff. It happens. It does. But the only reason we show it to you is because China is pretending it doesn't exist. China is force-feeding you propaganda to say it doesn't exist.
For a reason.
Yes. But it does exist, and we're showing you proof with no green screens, no BS, on-the-ground footage, right?
Yes.
That theft is a thing in China, that people are stealing.
Yep.
That you can't just leave your stuff lying around like they claim.
Yep.
But if you were to see all the outward-facing propaganda from China, you would think that what you're seeing in the background here doesn't exist in China. You would think that it's a utopia with flashy lights.
You would.
No homeless people.
Yep.
Great social programs.
Yes.
It's all nonsense. That doesn't exist in China. They're stealing cigarettes, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Anyway, I think you guys get the point. Theft is a big deal in China. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward some of this theft stuff to, hang on a second. I got to fast forward this until we get to this very interesting thing. Very, very interesting. Monday was a bit of a riot, wasn't it?
It was.
Okay. You know, we've got a secret show. If you don't know we have a secret show, we have a secret show. This is what you missed. It's kind of crazy. That is savage. That is just savage.
So disgusting.
I'm sorry, but wow.
You got a brain in a cup with milk in it? What is this? Is this not like a fever dream? You will find something you don't want. 4 months in the piss and shit. And they continue to pee and poop on it.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
I saw it and I go, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. They're trying to make a green pig.
This is such a bad thing. Yeah. All right.
This is such a bad
Yeah.
So last week we covered something called Tapeworm Village.
Tapeworm Village.
We have... When you think that China's got weird food, you don't understand.
Yes.
Like I'll get people to be like, oh yeah, I already know they have like dog
Stinky
meat and stuff and stinky tofu and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you haven't plunged the depths.
Yes.
And we plunged the depths.
We plunged some depths.
It was horrid, but
Yes.
also very funny.
Exactly.
If you go to patreon.com/ADV podcast, you support us at the Xiaoban Ho tier. It's currently half price. You'll get episodes like this. You'll also get episodes like China's remote control pervs, which is probably what you think it is. Or maybe it's not.
It's exactly what you think it is. China's sus delivery driver
Which
core.
might be what you think it is.
It's exactly what it is. The dangerous stuff people in China are eating as medicine. We got arrested at Whataburger. I mean, we've got tons of different topics. We've got like 149 episodes.
We do.
So you get access to all of those. If you join the live tier, you get to participate live. We have a spin the wheel of fortune, and we write a Chinese name for you.
If you win.
If you want to participate, of course. And then you get to choose the topic. You get to vote and stuff. If you go for the half price sale, you get immediate access to the show after it's gone live.
Yeah.
So
one of the big perks we never talk about with the live tier is, you know how we do super chats at the end of this episode?
Yeah.
On our Monday show, on our secret show on Xiaoban Ho, anyone that's there live with the live tier, they get all of their questions answered.
Yeah.
So you don't have to send a super chat or something like that.
Of course not. There's no
It's
super
an
chats.
open party Q&A at the end of the show.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, Democratic, you get to choose. But if you just want to see the episodes, you don't
Yep.
want to be part of the live, it's half price.
Yep.
Half price. So get in there on the half price sale. It's $10 a month if you can. If you can afford it, you get access to every episode we've done prior.
Yep.
We delve into the things that we cannot show you here on public YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, like they get demonetized every time because of the stuff we show. It's just the way it is.
Yes.
But of course, this is the best way to support us. We know it's a huge ask, and so only if you have the means, we seriously appreciate it.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you for at least considering.
Yeah. It's Slopaganda time, guys. All right, let's see. What do we got for Slopaganda today?
This robot is powered by lab-grown human brain cells. Chinese researchers have developed this brain-on-chip technology called MetaBOC. Researchers say that they're...
I'm just going to stop it right there. I'm going to stop it right there.
You have to explain what it is.
Well, it's a bunch of BS is what it is.
Okay.
Take a look at this. This big account, again, these big X accounts, always sharing Chinese propaganda without a second thought, without looking into it. It says, Chinese scientists grew a cerebral organoid, a mini brain made from human cells, and connected it to a robot.
Yes.
That's fake, by the way.
Yeah, someone sent us this clip. They said it was going viral.
It did.
It did.
I mean,
go viral.
like when I clipped this clip, it had close to 1 million views. It got
tiny
many
lab-grown
views.
brain could learn tasks faster than current AI models. They say it uses much less energy than AI, which needs a lot of power and data to learn. These brain cells also show more, quote, intuition and creativity than AI.
Okay. So this is the account that shared it. And you see, this is what always worries me, is these big accounts. Like this particular one has 2.4 million followers, okay? And they post this, and then it gets tons of views. And everyone's like, wow, China created a brain-controlled robot. And it's like, whoa, that's so impressive. And they see that picture of that stupid brain robot thing, which I'm going to debunk in a minute. And then everyone thinks China's invented this incredible new technology.
Engineer, selecting and curating pictures and videos to try to add context, source, and explanation to science, tech, art, and weather topics. Are you sure about that, my friend?
Yeah, exactly. More like just spreading Chinese
propaganda.
False propaganda. Look, the technology is something that does exist, but it's not this. Take a look at this. Not only is that person spreading it, but when you look it up, it's like Chinese scientists create robot with brain made from human stem cells. Researchers have developed brain-on-chip technology to train the robot to perform such tasks as gripping objects. And you look at this article, and you look at all this stuff, and you think, wow. But I mean, look at the robot. Anyone who's got a brain, okay, no pun intended, will see that that is a toy robot.
Yes.
With an IDE cable connected to some slime. You know, like that slime you get for kids in a petri dish. I'll show you the pictures in a minute. It's actually this robot that you can buy. If you take a look,
Temu robot.
This is the exact robot you can buy for like $36. It does it's like a dancing robot. It's one of those toys. You press a button, and it's like you know, it does a little thing. It's this toy robot, cheap toy robot. Okay, which they cut the plastic on the top. Okay, but do you know this actually is real research by the Monash University.
In Australia.
It's more about using human tissue instead of silicon on a chip in order to, do the work of the chip. It's not a brain connected to a robot. It's this whole, you can read it, it's very complicated. I am not qualified to give you an exact idea of what this is, but it's really just the idea of using human brain tissue instead of silicon in order for the chip to work. So it's putting,
so the chip still has to be a chip.
Well, it's still a chip,
It's not like the brain tissue thinks.
No, it's not like a brain. It's not a brain. It's a kind of an organic chip, basically. But it's not connected to a robot that can walk around and grip things and stuff. That's all fake. And Chinese people didn't invent it.
And that brain is literally children's slime.
Yes, that's what it is.
With an IDE cable in
it. Exactly. And I mean, even if you start to do a bit of research, first of all, Monash University is not China.
No.
Monash University is in Australia.
They made it up.
Yeah. They did this research. China didn't do this. Chinese engineers didn't make this up.
No.
But the propaganda would make you think that, yes, Chinese engineers invented this robot. When you take a look at the brain in jar, biocomputers can now learn to control robots. If you look at in the more honest articles, they say, take a look, note, the images above are for demonstration purposes only.
Which is a ridiculous demonstration because it has nothing to do with how that would work.
Yes.
It's like a dumb demonstration.
It's a very dumb demonstration because it's very easy to create this thing. You take that toy robot, I've forgotten the name of it, I do know it. You take an IDE cable, you take...
For like a printer.
Yeah. No, that's for a hard drive.
For a hard drive.
Yeah, it's a normal IDE cable that you get in an old computer. You take a children's slime, which you can buy. All of these components together will cost you maybe like $40.
Yeah.
You see, that's the exact same robot, exactly the same. I'll get us out of there so you can see. See the switch and the USB-C connector? Mm-hmm. It's all there. It's the same. It's the backpack. Cut it out. You unscrew it. You can see the screw holes up there. Take the slime, kind of make it into a round ball, stick it there. Take the IDE cable and pretend you've got a brain-powered robot. I'm sorry.
And millions of people spread this around as a viral story about how China... So wait, what are you trying to tell me? Let me see if I can clear this up because I didn't follow this whole thing from the beginning like you did.
Sure.
China took a toy, cut it open, put children's slime in a petri dish, connected a hard drive cable to it, does nothing.
Yes.
Put it out there into the world... said it had developed a new technology where a brain controls a robot. Turns out that's not even true. It was from an Australian university who is now kind of working on something like that.
Yes.
So it commandeered another, like Tianjin University or whatever in China, commandeered research from Monash University in Australia, didn't show it, didn't do anything, didn't advance it.
No.
And then put a toy together and said, this is the future of China. We've conquered the world.
Yes, and that's what really annoys me is that this is super low effort, right? I'm not saying that the research doesn't exist. I'm not saying that this biochip brain nonsense doesn't exist because they are researching it. And Monash University got a big grant to research it, right? And they've done some tests where they can program the chip to, control like a little... a robot on a track type thing, but it's not a robot. It's like one of those radio-controlled car-looking things, okay? But all the articles show this picture of this brain in a robot toy, pretending like China's just made this breakthrough.
Yes.
It's lies. It's disingenuous. It's the same as that nuclear-powered battery thing they keep putting out.
Yeah.
And this is pissing me off that these big accounts are always sharing this crap.
Yes.
Without looking into it properly. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So next time you see the brain-powered... By the way, this brain-powered robot thing, this whole article, this whole slew of articles was released a year and a half ago. But it's just resurfaced again. And they keep resurfacing these things. They wait until people forget about this because people don't have a long attention span these days.
Especially with TikTok and stuff.
Then they put it out again, just like that nuclear-powered battery. Remember, we debunked it on the show like 2 years ago.
And they keep doing it.
Yeah, a couple of months ago, it was out again. Oh, China invented a nuclear-powered battery that can last 50 years and power your phone or whatever.
The reality of China's robots are something more akin to this.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is the real thing. Anyway, I don't want to harp on about this. I'm just disappointed that this kind of crap gets traction.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Here's another one that's really, really pissed me off. Okay. This person over here is a massive propagandist on Twitter.
Okay.
Okay. Just Chinese propaganda full on.
Okay.
And take a look at what's written up there. What do Chinese homes look like? Here's your answer. This Shenzhen new gen apartment is why China's design game wins. Sleek, smart, next level affordable. Anyone taking notes?
Affordable?
Now,
nice, beautiful pollution.
Yeah, look at that wonderful view. We're looking at this, and by the way, I recognize the area immediately because I lived in that city for 14 years. I know the city incredibly well. And I know that this is in the Bao'an district just outside of Nanshan, and I've been here. So I'm like, are you joking? Next level affordable. I know that apartments in that area cost millions of US dollars. So we both looked it up. I took Google Maps. Remember, I took Google Maps and I pinpointed where it was. Okay, and we looked it up. But first, I wanted to point out that this person is using an avatar of a famous actress. You see, here's a Getty Images. So this person is not a woman. It's probably a team of, Chinese nationalists working together.
Or the government.
Yes, most likely a team. Or,
It's almost guaranteed they're working on behalf of a government.
Yes.
There's no point in doing this by yourself.
Yeah, so this is Angela Baby, is her name. Very famous actress in China.
But this team...
Used to have a mad crush on her.
Did you?
Yeah.
This China, Russia, whatever team, right,
Yeah.
of government actors here running this propaganda account, ran that picture through an AI filter so it doesn't actually come up when you try to photo match it.
So they slightly change it, but you can see it's the exact same picture. Like this is from Getty Images from a premiere from a movie that she went to, and there's the person's avatar. Same hair, you can see everything. It's exactly the same
photo.
Same photo. Anyway, let's get back to it. We looked it up. I looked it up on Google Maps because I saw the landmarks outside. Okay, there's a Ferris wheel. I recognize that. There's this, there's that. Let's look it up on Google Maps. We found the exact apartment, okay? Then we searched. You searched some Chinese real estate websites to find out how much that specific apartment cost.
We found that unit.
We found the exact unit. This is the thing. It's the SCT Bay building, and it's located in the Shenzhen Bao'an district. And the apartment that was shared in that video costs $3.3 million US dollars. This is the floor plan of the video of that specific building.
Yeah, so the millions of people that see this clip, right, this propaganda clip, they go, "Wow, Chinese people. This is like affordable housing in China.
Next level affordable.
It's $3+ million to live in frickin' China.
Yes,
you want to live in China? Of course, you don't want to live in China.
That's your view.
You want to look at cranes and industry?
Yeah.
Outside of your $3.3 million apartment while you live in a technologically advanced North Korea?
Because there's a container port over there.
Yeah. And
that's what the cranes are for. It's for the container port. So great. You get to watch containers being loaded up all the time. Good job.
But again, this little slice may not seem important, but when millions of people see a clip like this, it gets into the back of their head if they don't know any better and they think China's some sort of utopia that's affordable.
Yes.
And fair.
Because, again, I just have to go back to the description here. What do Chinese homes look like?
I've never seen a home in China look like that. No one lives in that.
Because here's your answer. That is a generalization. So you think, okay, Chinese homes look like this.
She picked...
Not
the
she.
Best, sorry.
It's definitely
the
a
team.
he. The team, yeah.
The CCP team,
yeah.
The propagandist team,
yes,
picked the most expensive home in all of China.
Yes.
In the most expensive area of the most expensive city.
Correct.
In all of China.
Yes.
Literally nothing in China looks like this.
Nope.
It's mostly, outside of the city centers, a complete, utter wasteland.
Yep.
We've shown you a million times what China
How much does the average blue-collar worker earn in China per year?
A blue-collar worker per year, usually between... Well, I'll give you an example. On the lower end, you have street cleaners. Mm-hmm. They're making about 1,500 RMB per month. Yeah. So about $200 a month peak, right? A blue-collar worker that's really putting in the overtime in a factory and stuff, maybe $1,000 per month.
Yeah.
So you're looking at $12,000 per year. A $12,000 per year. A college graduate right now in China is making less than that, by the way.
Yeah.
The average middle-class person in China at max is making about $16,000 a year. At $16,000 a year, devil's advocate, can you afford a $3.3 million home in China?
No, you cannot.
It's outlandish.
As everybody knows, Shenzhen, Shanghai, Beijing, very expensive cities in Guangzhou, but Shenzhen specifically has always been incredibly expensive because it's right opposite Hong Kong. It's where, the first special economic zone was opened. Downtown there, you have to be mega rich. You have to be a billionaire or at least a multi-millionaire to even consider buying a house there. And remember, you don't own the house. I mean,
you don't even
own the apartment, but not the land that it's on.
Correct.
It's on a 70-year lease.
Yes.
And when that's up, the building has to go. So it's not really yours. And you've paid $3.3 million US. So that's not next level affordable, and that's not the average Chinese home. But these propagandists are pushing so hard to try and make you feel bad about your country.
And again, to cap it off, you got to understand why. Don't care about the home if you're not into homes or prices or whatever.
Yeah.
Care about why this is being paid to put in front of your face.
Yes.
There's a reason.
And why it's allowed on X, Twitter,
yeah,
X,
whatever. Sorry, X.
and why it's allowed on YouTube and all of these things. They shouldn't be allowed. It's just straightforward propaganda. It's like me going and taking the most expensive apartment in Manhattan.
Penthouse.
With a penthouse with the view of Central Park and stuff, and you're like, this is the average next level affordable American home.
Yes.
And
unironically.
and pumping it on Chinese social media, which you're not allowed to do.
And taking government paycheck to do that.
Yeah, the government pays you to do that. That's
and then
how
you
China
pay to get
operates,
it boosted on social media.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the government pays.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yes.
SEO and stuff, yeah. Garbage. Don't follow these accounts. If you see these accounts, report them.
Yeah,
ask for I'm being serious. Ask for community notes.
Yes.
When something like this is so provably false. I pointed it out obviously on Twitter, but they blocked me. Obviously, they blocked me because they could not refute what I said.
Right.
When faced with harsh realities, they try to pretend like it's not that I'm lying and I'm a racist or something for just pointing out the reality of the situation. And block me, just so you know. All right, now, believe it or not, it's time for us to get onto the main topic of the episode today, the thumbnail and title in Worldview, and that is solar powers. Don't we all love this?
I just wanted everyone to understand how solar power works. Can you give us a little rundown?
Pretty simple.
It's important.
Your solar panel captures the rays of the sun, goes into an inverter, which then converts that into, the electricity that can be stored into batteries.
AC, yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
So those components by themselves seem innocuous.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Unfortunately, something really bad has been discovered.
Yep.
And it has implications beyond whether or not your house has solar.
Yeah.
This is implications of a nation.
Yes.
On a nation. Mm-hmm. Right. Let's look at the next slide here.
Sure.
Just in case you don't get it, just so you understand how it works. Mm-hmm. Solar panel converts sunlight to electricity. Inverter converts electricity to usable power. Converted power is sent to your home. Excess power is sent to the grid and credited to you. That's usually how it works.
Yeah.
On a personal level.
Yeah, but of course, like any solar panel is going to need an inverter.
Correct.
Okay, because if you got an RV or something, you got a solar panel. If you're one of those guys who like a prepper or something and you go in the middle of the woods and you have like a little solar panel and a battery bank or whatever,
But it also works like this when you scale it up. So if you play.
Yeah.
You scale this up and you have solar fields. Solar fields will power a school, a church, a entire factory, industry, a water plant, right?
Or the entire electrical grid.
Or the entire grid, right? When you scale it all the way up.
I mean, these solar farms get plugged into the grid. That's the whole point. When you've got a big solar farm, is you plug it into the grid. It's this whole renewable energy push, wind turbines, and solar panels. And inverters are also used in other applications too.
For sure. Mm-hmm. However, this is what's happened.
Yeah.
Chinese made devices that play a critical role in renewable energy infrastructure like this, right?
Yes.
After an unexplained communication equipment was found inside of some of them, there is now an investigation.
Yep.
Two people familiar with this whole situation did a report, right?
Right.
Power inverters, which are predominantly produced in China, are used throughout the world to connect solar panels and wind turbines to electricity grids.
Yep.
They're also found in batteries, air conditioners.
Like EV batteries.
Yes.
Yeah, heat pumps.
Electric vehicle chargers.
Yeah.
Right. You could just go across the board here, right? These are important devices. While inverters are built to allow remote access for updates and maintenance, the utility companies that use them typically install firewalls to prevent direct communication back to China. However, rogue communication devices not listed in the product documents have been found in Chinese solar power inverters by U.S. experts who stripped down equipment hooked up to grids to check for security issues. Over the past 9 months, undocumented communication devices, including cellular radios, have also been found in some batteries from multiple Chinese suppliers. The rogue components provide additional undocumented communications that would allow firewalls to be circumvented remotely.
Yep.
So picture this. You have your inverter, and you go, well, it's made in China, but I got firewall in there.
Yeah.
China can go, bye-bye, firewall.
Yeah, get direct access through the cellular radio.
This could have potentially catastrophic consequences. And I'll give you some examples in a second. This is a quote from a guy named Mike Rogers. He was the former U.S. National Security Agency.
Good.
We know that China believes there is value in placing at least some elements of our core infrastructure at risk of destruction or disruption. Using rogue communication devices to skirt firewalls and switch off inverters remotely or change their settings could destabilize power grids, damage energy infrastructure, and trigger widespread blackouts.
That's
now,
right,
Why would
like
you
a
want to do
cascade
that?
event.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, in case you want to invade, or if you want to cut off communication, or if you want to just cause chaos.
Would you put these remote back doors into inverters and solar panels like this and batteries if you weren't going to do that?
No, of course not. They want to have the option to switch it off. And like you just said there, you can create wide-scale disruptions and blackout an entire city, entire country, because this stuff is connected to the grid. And with the right amount of messing around, you can actually cause a problem in this solar panel grid or this wind turbine grid to actually trip the entire grid and bring the whole area down, the whole state down. It's entirely possible to do that.
That effectively means there's a built-in way to physically destroy the electrical grid. The existence of the rogue devices has not previously been reported. This is new.
Yes.
This is the backdoor thing is new.
Yep.
Right. While this functionality may not have malicious intent, it's critical for those procuring to have a full understanding of the capabilities of the products received, said a spokesperson. Now, here's the deal. That's why I asked you that leading question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to set you up here. What other intent is there to have a backdoor that stops a firewall put in place for safety? What other intent is there? Is there delicious intent? What is the opposite of malicious? Is there good intent?
No, there's no good intent. And they might argue that, in case we needed to fix it remotely or do some kind of update. But no, that stuff gets done out in the open. There are, like you said, the service providers and stuff, they have a way in. But they don't know about these clandestine ways in. Because if you've got a cellular radio in something, you can connect to it from wherever in the world.
You can.
Without anyone's permission.
Yes.
Directly to the thing. It's like a cell phone. So, you have a cell phone. It's like if, a terrorist wants to use a remote bomb, they put a cell phone somewhere so they can dial it and then
Correct.
It blows up. It's that kind of thing. They can get right into it. They can control it. And that's the very, very worrying thing. And China being dishonest once again, surprise, surprise, because they can't be honest anyway. It's just the norm. It's not a surprise.
It's so blatant. And
That's not solar, by the way.
Is there anything?
It's like mirrors. I mean, it's still solar power.
Is it getting electricity?
I mean, it's like it's frying birds.
Are there
but at
inverters?
Yeah, there will be because there's like molten salt and it heats up and it makes steam and
still in
so
power inverters.
There'll be a power inverter
in
there, of course. Yeah.
Just some implications here. Do you guys remember when the power went off in Spain and Portugal?
And that was only a couple weeks ago.
Yes. So look at some photos to remember this, okay? There's the third photo here coming up. Just pause it on that.
Yeah, that was scary.
That was terrifying. And what happened was the power went off across the board over a huge part of Europe.
Yes.
Right? Now, they were able to fix it within a day, right? Given the circumstances here, and the amount of inverters and batteries and solar panels and capabilities and backdoors that China has to this, they could do a hell of a lot more damage than that.
Yeah.
And that was catastrophic.
And what was the cause of this particular one?
It was potentially related to the solar grid.
Yes, right? I think it was linked to the renewable energy. A renewable energy source.
Yes.
And that's what caused it. They're not sure whether it was malicious or just a fault, but it shows you it's the renewable energy stuff that tripped it all up and caused this.
So it says the Spanish grid operator Red Electrica identified several incidents of power generation loss possibly linked to solar plants, right?
Yep.
Now, when this happens, immediately, of course, our alarm bells go off. And we go, is China or Russia testing something out?
Yep.
Right? Maybe in potentially for reciprocation about helping Ukraine or maybe some sort of bad deal that China got, right? You have to think about these nefarious powers that do things like this,
If
right?
China was about to, say, for instance, invade Taiwan, if they shut off all the power in America, while they did that, it would slow down any kind of response time.
Correct. It also cause chaos in the U.S.
Yes,
That's
correct.
ultimately what they want, right?
Yeah.
If you can have some sort of crazy animalistic civil war here that you've created, and they're trying to do that right now through TikTok influence campaigns, right? If you manage to pull that off, then you got clear sailing, right? The U.S. is not going to be able to help as well as they could. Now, when this happened in Spain and Portugal, it was initially ruled out, the cyber attack potential was initially ruled out, but they are now reinvestigating
after they found these.
I don't know if it's related after finding this, but it's interesting that they kind of said, no way, not cyber attack. Now they're going, hey, let's reinvestigate this.
Yeah, it may have been a cyber attack.
Yeah. So if you play through here, I think this is absolutely terrifying.
Yes.
I think we need to remember that Salt Typhoon, a recent Chinese attack that they did for a long time, came into America, invaded and went into our telecom systems to get information on every single cellular network, cell phone, government, people, everything, right? To identify those people. Did that recently, right? They've also done something else. They did something called Volt Typhoon.
Yeah, which will come up eventually.
Volt Typhoon. PRC state-sponsored actors compromise and maintain persistent access to U.S. critical infrastructure. Multiple departments of government were compromised. And you know why they were compromised?
Why?
In an effort to destroy them, to destabilize them, to do exactly what you said about the solar inverters, to do all of those things. This is not the first time. The Chinese government has already committed warfare against the U.S. and no one has the balls to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we not? Are we? Why are we joking here?
Nope.
They've already hacked infrastructure.
Yes.
We keep finding more and more and more, and yet we have deals.
Yeah.
And we talk to them like they're some sort of moral equal.
Yeah,
they are
that's the
evil,
mistake.
and they're hurting America, and they're doing it right now, and they're going to continue to do it until we're no more.
Yes.
Do you agree?
100% agree. They are taking advantage of the high trust society.
Yes.
Being a low trust society, they very easily take advantage. It's kind of like a con man.
Yeah.
Has no scruples.
No.
You'll find an old lady or someone who's very trusting and very nice and go feed them a line and, talk with a silver tongue and rob them blind and murder them, and get rid of the body and take over their house and their car.
Yes.
That's what China's doing to the US and the West. Anyway, we wanted to point out, this is not really related, but it's kind of related. It wasn't that long ago that a bunch of mini PCs are these cool little computers that you can buy from China, right?
Yes.
Mostly manufactured in China. But a bunch of them were found to have pre-installed from the factory malware, So this is just a bit of a risk when you're buying all of these electronics from China because, we're finding it in the inverters and stuff like that. But I mean, something like this, you go and buy a cool thing off Amazon. It's for sale on Amazon. They're fairly cheap and it's like, cool, it's a gadget. I like this kind of thing a lot. Like I want to buy one. I don't buy one because they're made in China and they're a risk, even though I really want one.
Yeah.
I buy a Raspberry Pi instead, which sucks in comparison. But, I like Raspberry Pis, I guess.
Well, it's cheaper too. And it's not Chinese.
It's cheaper, yeah. Anyway, the whole thing is they were releasing them and selling them on Amazon with malware installed. Who knows what else? Maybe that cheap power bank that you're buying off Amazon from China's got something in it.
The point of hearkening back to this is to show this keeps happening.
Sure.
It keeps happening.
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear what's happening, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it wasn't just one or one incident. There was more than one different mini PCs from different manufacturers that actually had malware installed on them from the factory.
Yeah.
Just saying, there's all sorts of ways that they can get you.
Many.
Yeah,
Many.
All sorts. That's just a little reminder, okay?
You know what China's official response is?
That was just last year. What's that?
You know what their foreign ministry is going to say tomorrow, probably?
What?
They're going to say, because there ain't no solar backdoor.
Shut up. That's so bad. That's so bad. Oh, man. Do we have like a shut the hell up button over here? Yeah, we do, actually. Yes, exactly.
Yes, you are true. You are true.
So, last thing we're going to cover today. Important.
Yes.
Okay.
Very important. We are going long.
I know, but we got to do this. It's the last one before the Q&A, guys.
I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, it's good.
This is good. What's happening in response is good.
Mm-hmm.
Select Committee on CCP, fantastic government organization.
Very good.
That comes up with laws to fight against the CCP.
Yes.
They would probably be on the same wavelength as we feel about what the CCP is doing.
Yeah.
And not ignoring the problems like a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, by and large, they're calling on Duke to terminate their relationship with China, Duke University.
Yeah.
Right. There has been multiple issues as to why that needs to happen.
Right.
And I just want to go through a couple of them here.
All right.
So there's a letter right now, but let's look at this.
Okay.
The DKU, so this is the Kunshan and Duke University, right?
Yes.
Was established as a joint institute between Duke and Wuhan University in 2018. Okay.
Awesome.
Great place.
Yep. Lovely.
Fantastic. Let's keep partnering.
You know, you've seen that meme
COVID
where it's like Delta or American Airlines or something. It's like, name a city that changed your life.
Wuhan.
It's Wuhan. Yeah, exactly.
It should be number one. Yeah, isn't it funny that it's kind of like controversial for us to say that COVID is from Wuhan?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It's stupid.
Dude, I hope someday we get over that.
It's 100% from Wuhan.
Yes.
100%.
If it was able to be more than 100%, it would be.
Yeah, 110%.
110% from Wuhan.
It's from Wuhan.
Wuhan University conducts research.
Screw you, Jeffrey Sachs. You suck. You're a demagogue, and you are a piece of shit. And you know what you're doing is evil. Jeffrey Sachs sucks.
What does this have to do with anything?
I just had to say it.
Oh, okay.
Can't stand that turtle-looking man. He's like craning his neck out looks like a freaking old turtle.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm over it. Mm-hmm.
Number 2.
Yeah.
This is why they need to terminate their relationship.
Yes.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Wuhan University conducts research in at least 5 designated defense research areas.
Yeah.
Trains the People's Liberation Army.
Yep.
Cyber warfare specialists, and plays a central role in China's Beidou satellite system, which supports missile guidance and military intelligence operations.
So why is Duke University partnering with...
Toklek,
yeah, why is Duke University partnering with the PLA's like military cyber attack nonsense?
Now, this coming up, this third thing is very interesting.
Okay.
And I agree. I have no idea.
Yeah.
In February, Duke student Jacqueline Cole wrote an article for the North Carolina news site, The Assembly, detailing how and her fellow students were used for CCP propaganda purposes during her DKU-sponsored trip. I want to have a look at that, actually.
Okay.
So, the last slide here. Coming up here. So this is really, really interesting. Very cool. You can go check out.
Yeah, we've got a link down below, but we have to talk about this because this is right in our wheelhouse.
Yes. How I accidentally became part of China's PR campaign. Can you give us the gist, and I'll give some highlights?
Okay. The gist is, just like any other travel vlogger that goes to China, you get invited to go on a free trip. They're going to pay for your flight. They're going to pay for your accommodation. They're going to show you around, show you China's ancient culture. They're going to show you China's vibrant cities. They're going to show you the cool parts about China.
And this is Duke students going to the partner thing.
Yeah, so they were offered all expenses paid trip to China by the Chinese government. Okay, by the whichever department, whichever area that they went to. And they were like, yeah, of course, they're young students. Who would say no to that, right? Who would say no?
It's your official partnership university. Yeah. It's not some scam.
And the teachers were telling them about it. The teachers were saying, hey, you should do this.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's encouraging them. And it turned out to be a dreadful experience, just like every other travel thing. If anyone has done one of these travel shill things, you get off the plane, they make you hold a banner, they take tons of photos, Chinese state media films you, they make a big hoo-ha out of it. Everywhere you go, you're followed and you're filmed and you're harassed for interviews. Everywhere you go, you have to say how amazing China's culture is. Everywhere you go, you have to say how great China is. You're not allowed to be left to your own devices. You have minders with you all the time. You have people watching you. You have people guiding you, putting you in certain places, and more importantly, just harassing you the whole time, filming you, taking photos, and then using those photos in the filming on Chinese state TV to show how amazing China is and that foreigners love China so much, right?
Yeah, it was actually only for propaganda at the end. There was no genuine cultural exchange. Everything has an agenda behind it. She said university students are seen as a good fit for promotional tours, young, influenceable subjects with deep pockets to fund these kind of trips. Governments that host such exchanges are aiming for what she referred to as the pebble effect. One student comes back from their trip with a positive impression of the country and tells 10 friends. Each one tells 10 more. The impact is exponential. When they got these students together, they were like, oh, we thought we were just going to go hang out, right?
And we're going to go see China.
We'd go see China, right? But they had to say things like, China is the leader in the movement to curb climate change. And they had state media cameras all around them. It was fatiguing. Over and over and over again. They had state media. And they'd say things, say you love China.
Yes.
Do a thing
They'll
where
say
you
this poem in Chinese.
Say this poem.
Like, we'll teach you. And it's like, 我爱中国.
Yes.
You know, I
says,
love China.
By day two,
day two,
the 10th person asking us to do an interview, you're like, okay, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. Yeah. There's a whole reality show's worth of cameras. Rodriguez, so one of the students, said that there was he was in an opera museum and a camera crew strapped him with a mic, showed him a video of a TikTok of a woman singing Chinese opera and asked him to sing along. Rodriguez waved his arms and tried to murmur the song. Other times, the camera crews tried to coach us. Leading questions were common, like, would you be happy if you moved to Jiangsu province in China?
Yeah.
Rodriguez recalled telling the cameras that he liked a Chinese infrastructure project and then pausing and wondering, what did I just say?
Yes.
Will this somehow come back to haunt me when I start my career?
Yeah.
Sometimes the reporters taught us phrases in Chinese to recite on camera. Once, after I toured a Chinese village, a crew pulled me aside for an interview and taught me to recite a poem in Mandarin that included the line, I love China. This is funny. They particularly liked this one guy because he looked American.
Okay.
The more American we looked, the more camera crews seemed to follow us around. As a brown-eyed brunette, white 22-year-old, I was especially popular. They also liked Abram, who was a square-jawed, smooth-skinned white guy. They loved Lerman, a rosy-cheeked Duke Sr. who wore red lip stain and bohemian outfits, as well as Rodriguez, who has long, fluffy, curly hair and shiny white teeth. He looks like the American teenage boy.
Yep.
They said, we were a traveling circus and with cameras constantly rolling. We were paraded in front of local press and TV stations, and the message was clear. American students love Jiangsu and are impressed by China's cultural prowess. When I returned to school, I talked to other students, Duke students, who shared my sentiments. We felt used. It felt transactional.
Yep.
As Osborne put it, they want you to learn a specific thing and take it back with you. And that's propaganda. After being interviewed for hours, we also knew that our words would live on in China and beyond. One evening around sunset, our group visited Nanjing City Wall. Frank, another student, I guess. Oh, no, Frank was the CCP leader.
CCP minder is watching them, yeah.
Holding his phone horizontally, summoned us from our selfies to take a look at his phone. We were on CCTV, China's central television, for the giant national network. So it went from, oh, we're going to have a cultural exchange, to they were on CCTV, like Xi Jinping's channel.
Dude, no joke. I think I've seen them because, I'm always going through Chinese.
Yeah. Dude, I have.
Yeah, and especially this thing about, doing a thing about music.
Yes.
And that guy talking about singing the opera song. I think I've seen that clip.
I've seen these people on Douyin videos, propaganda Douyin videos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We quickly realized that we were being broadcasted everywhere all the time, which was both hilarious and really scary.
Sure.
Really good article. I recommend you read through the whole thing.
I just want to say that every time there's a cultural exchange or a student exchange program between universities abroad and China, it's always a one-way street.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. The exchange is so that they can send people here to steal IP, send people here to take what they can. There's no group of Chinese students being brought to America and being taken to like all the spots and forced on national TV in America to say America is great and the leader in green technology, or America is the leader in innovation. They don't do that.
You know what America doesn't have?
Like 1,000 students will come from that university to come here to study full time. And like this one group in a year goes of like 10 students or something. It's always a one-way street with China.
Yeah. And then they just got forced to be propaganda slaves.
Yeah, they are.
I think it's a good way to just remember, to cap this off, just to remember that China has a law from 2017 that says every Chinese student, every Chinese national in America or anywhere, if called upon by the Chinese government, has to relinquish all information back to them and share everything, no matter what, even if it's privileged or classified stuff in their research facility or wherever. They legally have to give it to the CCP.
That's right.
America does not have that law.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for us to move on to Yum Cha, everybody. That's our Q&A segment where we answer your questions and you question our answers. It's Friday. So it's time to loosen the tide, to say goodbye to those of you who are not watching live or on the weekend. So stay awesome, and we'll see you next time. And for everyone else, let's get stuck in.